This conference will
Fourier
now be
transform.
recorded.
The
This
second unit.
conference will now be
If you
recorded.
see now, if you see the difference between Fourier series and transforms first, already we discussed that. Now to start with, now observe this. In this is also a part in the second unit. In this unit, in this Fourier transforms, you are going to study about deriving Fourier transform from Fourier series. First, try to understand how we are going to obtain Fourier transform from the Fourier series that we are going to discuss now. Then Fourier transform of arbitrary signals. That means we can find Fourier transform of any given signal, how you can find it. Then Fourier transform of standard signals. Then Fourier transform of periodic signals. Now try to understand. Arbitrary signal is different, standard signals are different, and periodic signals are different. Standard signals are nothing but they are exponential signal, ramp signal, unit step signal. All those signals can be treated as the standard signals. Arbitrary signal means which is given with some unknown fashion or in a random thing. That we can call it as arbitrary signal. Then Fourier transform of periodic signals, which you already know. Then after that, you are going to study about properties of Fourier transform. Then Fourier transform involving impulse function, signum function, and introduction to Hilbert transform. Here you are going to discuss about some basics of Hilbert transform also. Now, before going to see this Fourier transform in detail, first you should know why we need to go for transformation, or why. What do you mean by transformation? First, try to understand. Transformation means converting one form of signal into the other form is known as transformation. Please try to understand. Now, first I am going to discuss about the difference between Fourier series and Fourier transform first. As we already studied Fourier series, basically this Fourier series is used for signal approximation. That means what we are going to do in this is we are having a function or a signal which is known to us. We are approximating that signal with some set of n number of harmonic components or harmonic functions, harmonic components with the help of this Fourier series. Basically, there are two types of Fourier series we have. One is trigonometric Fourier series, and the other one is exponential Fourier series. Now, coming to the Fourier transform, this Fourier transform is used for signal transformation. Now, try to understand the difference between approximation and transformation. Approximation means we are fitting one known function with an approximated function, and so that we are reducing the error. That what we call it as approximation. That means if I have a signal x of t which is known to you, I want to approximate this x of t with another signal, and this approximated signal and the actual signal, if you take the difference, the error should be as minimum as possible. That's what we'll do in the case of approximation. And in the coming to the transformation, in transformation, what we are doing is we are going to convert one form of signal into the other form. That means suppose we have different forms of signals are there, and these forms are used for different applications. Now, if you see, the Fourier series of a function, of a time domain function, is again in time domain. Here, when you're doing this approximation, it will not convert the one form of signal into other form. The same form will be there. Uh, the approximated signal and the actual signal both are in time domain only. Whereas in the Fourier transform, it is converting the time domain function to frequency domain. Please try to understand this. This is very important. In Fourier transform, you are converting any signal or any function which is in time domain, that has to be converted into frequency domain. That's what the basic use of Fourier transform. Whereas Fourier series, when you do approximation, both will remain in the same domain. Now you can apply Fourier series only for periodic signals. Please underline this. This is very important. Whereas you can apply Fourier transforms to periodic and non-periodic signals also. That means you can apply Fourier transform to any of the signal. whether it can be periodic or aperiodic also. When you say the Fourier series, you can have amplitude and frequency spectrum is there, that we already discussed in the previous class. To find the amplitude spectrum, you have to take you have to find the coefficients, and you have to take the magnitude of that coefficients, that gives you the amplitude spectrum. And if it is the phase, you are taking the tan inverse of Bn by An, will gives you the phase spectrum. So in the case of Fourier series, the amplitude and frequency spectra, the amplitude and phase spectra, both are discrete in nature. Whereas in the Fourier transform, the spectrum is continuous in nature. That means you know the difference between continuous signal and discrete signal. Please try to understand. No, now please try to understand whatever topics that we have studied in the second unit so far, that is Fourier series, that is basically meant for signal approximation. So when you go for signal approximation, as we already studied in the first unit, that is the completeness and mean square error, that from there this is linking. Please try to understand. That means if you observe completeness, if you use one if I take one approximation, the error is more. If I go for two approximations, the error is little bit less. Like that, if you go for n number of terms, then automatically the error becomes less. So if we use Fourier series, if I want to minimize the error, if I want to approximate the signal, the actual signal with the approximated signal, so that they will be better fitted with that, then I need to go for n number of components. And if I use all the n number of components, then I can say that the error becomes very less. So for that, we'll use Fourier series. And this Fourier series is basically of two types. They are trigonometric Fourier series and exponential Fourier series. All these trigonometric Fourier series, we have one formula, and exponential Fourier series also we have another formula. And the amplitude and phase spectra also we have the formulas, and all those things we discussed in the Fourier series in the previous classes. Now coming to the Fourier transform. Fourier transform is basically meant for signal transformation. Transformation is nothing but converting one form of signal to the other form. In Fourier transform, we are converting the time domain signal to frequency domain, and you can apply this Fourier transform to both periodic and aperiodic signals. And the spectrum which you are going to get is continuous in nature. Please try to understand about this. Is about the basic information about the Fourier transform. Now coming to this Fourier transform. Now the first topic which I am going to discuss under this is how we are going to derive, how we are going to obtain the Fourier transform from Fourier series. Now first what we are going to do is, now you need to consider x of t be a non-periodic signal of finite duration. Please try to understand. You are not considering non-periodic signal first and a finite duration. Now, and x of t is equal to 0, and for mod t less than or equal to t greater than t1. So that means for all t1 and for all less than t1, it is 0. So if you observe this waveform, this is what the waveform for x of t. That means the waveform is existing only between minus t1 to t1, and for all other values it is 0. That's what. Now observe this x of t. This x of t is not periodic. It is not repeating again. So this is non-periodic. Now we are going to consider x of t naught. Now we are going to take the periodic signal by repeating x of t with fundamental period t naught. Now try to understand. We are going to take the same x of t, and we are repeating this x of t for every t naught, and now we'll make that as periodic. Now if we let this t naught tends to infinity like this. Now observe the second waveform. Here the first waveform is a non-periodic signal, and which is finite duration, which is existing over the finite interval, that is from minus t1 to t1. This is what this equation for that. And now what we are doing is we are extending this x of t at t tends to t naught, and when you take t naught and you're repeating for every t naught, the same waveform is repeating, and you're taking this t naught is extending up to infinity. That means I will have so many terms there on either side. So if I repeat it, this is what the waveform for that. So for every t naught, what will happen? The same waveform is repeating like this. This is what we call it as the periodic signal. And this is what we call it as a periodic signal or non-periodic signal. Please try to understand the difference. So you can apply Fourier transform to this as well as to this also. So how you can apply that? So if I have a signal like this, I can apply Fourier series. You know, since the signal is repeating for every t naught, the same waveform is repeating for every t naught, so that I can say that the signal is periodic. I can apply Fourier series to this. But here it is a finite signal. I can't apply Fourier series to this. Now you please try to understand. First, what I'll do is I'm going to write the complex exponential Fourier series. You know why I'm going to write the complex exponential Fourier series? Once if I understand the complex exponential Fourier series, I can write the trigonometric exponential Fourier series also very easily. So the complex exponential Fourier series for x of t naught, for this periodic signal, we are going to write, for this periodic signal, if you write, which is given by x of t naught of t equal to sigma k equal to minus infinity to plus infinity ck e power jk omega naught t. This is what the complex exponential Fourier series of the periodic signal of period capital T naught, and period and omega naught, which you can write it as 2 pi f or 2 pi f naught. Here the period is T naught, so that I can write it as 2 pi by T naught. So you can write this omega naught as 2 pi by T naught. Now you know the formula for ck also, ck which you can write as 1 by t integral 0 to t, all that you are going to write. Now I'm going to use that. Now if you take this, already we discussed from the exponential Fourier series. If you see this exponential for the expression for ck, the coefficient, complex exponential coefficient ck from the complex exponential Fourier series is given by ck equal to 1 by t naught integral minus t naught by 2 to t naught by 2 x of t naught e power k. This is what the expression. Now since the waveform is repeating for every t naught, I can write t naught, I can treat it as minus t naught by 2 to t naught by 2 or 0 to t naught, like that I can write. But I am assuming that the waveform is existing on either side, and we can write this equation minus t naught by 2 to t naught by 2 x of t naught and all that. Now what I have to do is, since we are assuming that this periodic waveform is existing from minus infinity to plus infinity, that means we have so many for every t naught the same non-periodic signal is repeating. This is what the non-periodic signal, and it is repeating for every t naught. So it is existing from minus infinity to plus infinity, so that I can change these limits of this integration. Instead of writing minus t naught by 2 to t naught by 2, I can write it as minus infinity to plus infinity. So this is what we can call it as, we'll do some modification on this equation. The modification that we can represent it as, now we are going to define x of omega as x of omega equal to integral minus infinity to plus infinity x of t e power minus j omega t dt. Here omega naught we have, that in general we can write it as, this is what the Fourier transform of x of t. Please try to understand. You are going to derive the Fourier transform from the exponential Fourier series by adjusting this term as x of omega, and from and you can write ck, the scaling, the coefficient ck. Now you can write it as 1 by t naught into x of k omega naught. This x of k omega naught is, since we have in this expression we have k is also there, so that I'm going to compare with this equation, and I'm going to rearrange this. I can write this as ck, which is 1 by t naught into x of k omega naught. Just observe this. You can use 5.24 equation and 5.25 equation, and you can rearrange this. And 5.24 equation is ck is this, and you are replacing x of omega with this. But here you can have e power minus j omega jk omega naught. So you replace omega with k omega naught. So when you replace k omega with k omega naught, then it becomes this equation. So I can write Ck equal to 1 by T naught into x of k omega naught. So from that you can write x of T naught, which is sigma summation, all that you can write this. That means you please try to understand this. This is what your exponential, this is what your exponential Fourier series is. So I can rearrange this summation and integration. So as you know, when you take summation over the interval minus infinity to plus infinity, is nothing but you are finding the area under the curve from minus infinity to plus infinity. I can replace the summation with integration also. Just observe this, you'll understand that. So if I take minus infinity to plus infinity, I can sum all the samples like this from minus infinity to plus infinity. This is same as you can find the area from minus infinity to plus infinity. So I can replace this summation. I can replace this summation by taking so many samples like this, delta of each of length delta omega. So I can adjust this, and it is same as this one. So this is what the Fourier transform of x of t, and inverse Fourier transform also you can possible. Now you please try to understand this. This is how you can find this is how you can get the relation from the Fourier from the exponential Fourier series. You are going to obtain the Fourier transform. Now how you can write the Fourier transform? Now what are the Fourier transform pairs we have? Please try to understand. The Fourier transform of x of t. So your signal is x of t is in time domain. When you apply Fourier transform, you are going to get frequency domain or omega domain, which you can write it as x of omega or x of f. And the inverse Fourier transform of x of f, which you can write it as x of t. Now please try to understand. At this time, I would like to tell you one important point. Have you studied Laplace transform in your mathematics? Please tell me. Please post it in the chat box. Have you studied Laplace transform in your mathematics? Laplace transform. Have you heard the word Laplace transform in your mathematics? Please post it in the chat box or unmute yourself and tell me. Laplace transform chadivara mathematics lo. Have you heard the word Laplace transform? No. Okay, no, don't worry. So now observe it. When you see this, I have a signal in time domain, and this time domain signal can be converted into frequency domain using this Fourier transform, which you can write it as x of omega. And how you can represent this? And the inverse Fourier transform, that means the inverse Fourier transform, which is x of omega is known to you. From that you can get back your original signal x of t. So Fourier transform means you're converting the time domain signal to frequency domain, and inverse Fourier transform means you're going to convert frequency domain signal to time domain signal. So now try to understand. Now here, if you see the symbol, here I have a signal which is in time domain. If I apply Fourier transform, this is f. F represents Fourier transform. F of x of t means you are taking this x of t, which is in time domain signal, and you are applying this time domain signal. You are applying Fourier transform to this time domain signal. That means when you say Fourier, you need to represent f. F of x of t, which means that you are applying Fourier transform to a time domain signal, which you are going to get x of omega or x of f. So x of omega you can write as 2 pi f, right? So that's the reason you can write x, you will get either x of f or x of omega. This is what the Fourier transform of a time domain signal. The moment when you apply Fourier transform to a time domain signal, you will get a signal in which domain? Please post it in the chat box. Now observe this. You're taking small x of t, but you're going to get capital X of omega, which means that the moment when you apply Fourier transform to a time domain signal, you are going to get a signal in frequency domain, which is a function in frequency domain. Please try to understand. Always the moment when you apply the Fourier transform to a time domain signal, you will get the signal in frequency domain. You'll get the signal in frequency domain. Suppose the formula for this is integral minus infinity to plus infinity x of t. Here you have to write e power minus j omega t. It's not plus, it is minus. So x of t into e power minus j omega t dt. This is what the Fourier transform of x of t. The moment when you apply the limits, when you solve all this integration and all that, and you do this integration, you will get the signal in omega domain or frequency domain. Now, if you take the inverse Fourier transform, that means you'll get, x of omega. You take this f to the other side. When you take this f to the other side, then it becomes f inverse, right? So then you can write f inverse of x of omega, which you can write it as x of t, which you can write it like this: 1 by 2 pi integral minus infinity to plus infinity x of omega e power j omega t d omega. Then when you integrate with respect to omega, you will get the function in time domain. That's what the inverse Fourier transform is. So Fourier transform x of t and x of omega form a Fourier transform pair. Please try to understand. If I know x of t, I can get x of omega. If I know x of omega, I can get x of t. So we can, if it is x of t, you need to apply Fourier transform. Then you'll get x of omega. If I know x of omega, then you need to apply inverse Fourier transform. Then you'll get x of t. So x of omega and x of t form Fourier transform. Now observe this. This is the notation for this. X of t, double-sided arrow, x of omega. What does it mean is, if you read like this in one direction, the Fourier transform of x of t is x of omega. And now if you read in this direction, the other direction, reverse direction, the inverse Fourier transform of x of omega is x of t. That's how you can read it. So if I read in the forward direction, you can read it as the Fourier transform of x of t is x of omega. If you read in the backward direction, the inverse Fourier transform of x of omega is x of t. So already we have given the formulas like this. So observe it. F inverse, that means if I know x of omega, I'll get x of t. If I know x of t, if I apply Fourier transform, I'll get x of omega. So in the forward direction, it is forward Fourier transform. In the backward direction, it is inverse Fourier transform. That means if I know x of t, I'll get x of omega. That is what the Fourier transform is. If I know x of omega, I'll get x of t, which is nothing but the inverse Fourier transform. Now observe it. Now just have a look. You will understand this clearly. Here I represented the Fourier transform and inverse Fourier transform in time and frequency domain. So just have a look. You will understand it clearly. But in some books they will use g of f or x of f or x of omega. But when it is omega, please try to understand. When it is omega, you observe the difference between this slide and the previous slide also. I'll show that previous slide also. First, observe it. The Fourier transform of g of t. Here, g of t is the time domain signal. Is g of f. This g of f is the frequency domain. So when you apply Fourier transform to g of t, you'll get frequency domain signal, and is given by f of g of t. This is how you can write it. The moment f is Fourier transform. When you apply f of g of t, you'll get g of f. That means, try to understand. Here you are having a function which is in time domain, but you'll get a function in which domain? Please post it in the chat box. The moment when you take when you have a signal in time domain, if you apply Fourier transform, you'll get a signal in which domain? Please post it in the chat box. Please post it in the chat box. Yeah, frequency domain. So that's how it means. So if you read the, if I know the time domain signal, I'll get the signal in which domain? Frequency domain, when you apply Fourier transform. The formula for this is integral minus infinity to plus infinity g of t e power minus j2 pi f t dt. Here j2 pi f, you can call it as omega. Please try to understand. Omega you can write as 2 pi f. So now you may ask, sir, why you have written minus infinity to plus infinity? We are assuming that g of t is a non-periodic signal, and we are making that g of t as a periodic signal which is existing from minus infinity to plus infinity, right? So you can write the limits, default limits, which are minus infinity to plus infinity. So now you take this f to the other side, then what will happen? If it is f, on the other side it becomes f inverse, right? So you can read this as Fourier transform of g of t is g of f. This is how you can read it. Fourier transform of g of t is g of f, and inverse Fourier transform of g of f is g of t. That is how you can read it. So if you take this to the other side, it becomes inverse Fourier transform. You can read it as the inverse Fourier transform of g of f is g of t. And you can write it as, now you know g of f is known to you. Now you can write g of f inside to this integration. Now it is a exponential minus. Now you take to the other side, it becomes e power j2 pi ft df. Now try to observe it. Here you're doing integration in frequency domain. Here you're doing integration in time domain. When you do integration in time domain and you apply the limits, then you will get the signal in which domain? చూడండి, అబ్జర్వ్ చేసి ఈ ఈక్వేషన్ లో ఇంటిగ్రేషన్ లో లిమిట్స్, టైం లిమిట్స్ అప్లై చేస్తే, సింప్లిఫై చేస్తే ఏ ఫంక్షన్ వస్తుందమ్మా దాంట్లో? సొల్యూషన్ ఏ ఫంక్షన్ తో దేంతో ఫంక్షన్ వస్తుంది? ఎల్లో కలర్ దాంట్లో చెప్పండి. When you do integration, take any signal in time domain, you integrate over the limits and simplify it. What should be the solution that you're going to get? You will get the function in which domain? Yellow color లో ఉన్న దాని ఈక్వేషన్ చూసి చెప్పండి. ఏ డొమైన్ లో వస్తుంది? ప్లీజ్ పోస్ట్ ఇట్ ఇన్ ద చాట్ బాక్స్. శ్రీలక్ష్మి ఒకసారి అబ్జర్వ్ చేయమ్మా. మీరు ఇచ్చిన సిగ్నల్ టైం డొమైన్ సిగ్నల్ లో ఉంది, ఇంటిగ్రేట్ చేస్తున్నారు. ఇంటిగ్రేట్ దేంటో చేస్తున్నారు? టైం డొమైన్ లో చేస్తున్నారు. లిమిట్స్ అప్లై చేసిన తర్వాత ఏ డొమైన్ లోకి వస్తుంది? టైం డొమైన్ లో ఉంటుందా? మళ్ళీ జాగ్రత్తగా అబ్జర్వ్ చేయండి అమ్మా. టైం డొమైన్ లో ఉండదు. ఏ డొమైన్ లో వస్తుంది? ఇక్కడ అబ్జర్వ్ చేయండి, వేరియబుల్స్ ఏమేమి కనిపిస్తున్నాయి మీకు దాంట్లో? ఎస్, గుడ్ ఉపనయ, గుడ్ గుడ్. భవ్య, గ్రేట్ గ్రేట్, గుడ్. So observe this. Here you are doing the integration in time domain. You are doing the integration in time domain. When you do the integration in time domain, here we have the function which is in time domain, as well as how many variables are there? Here we have 2 pi, which is constant. Now the variables are f and t only. When you do integration with respect to time, you have the variable which is in frequency. So that's the reason, the moment when you apply the Fourier transform, you will get the function in which domain? Frequency domain, right? Now observe this green color equation. Now tell me, when you apply inverse Fourier transform, which is g of f, now you apply the limits using this equation. Now tell me, now which domain you are going to get after doing this integration with respect to frequency? Now tell me, what is the function that you are going to get after doing all this? Green equation to see. Yes, great, Sri Lakshmi, great. Now, yeah, you got the point. Now try to understand. So when you do the integration in time domain, since you are applying the limits in time domain, so the other variable you are going to get here the other variable is time. So please try to understand. If I apply Fourier transform of a time domain signal, you will get, always remember this point, you will always get the signal in frequency domain. Time domain signal తీసుకొని Fourier transform అప్లై చేస్తే ఫ్రీక్వెన్సీ డొమైన్ లో మాత్రమే వస్తుంది, టైం డొమైన్ లో రాదు. Keep it as important point or note. Since you are doing the integration in time domain, so మీకు ఇండిపెండెంట్ ఇక్కడ వేరియబుల్ ఏం కనిపిస్తుంది? ఎఫ్ టీ. కాబట్టి టైం తో ఇంటిగ్రేషన్ చేసినప్పుడు టైం క్యాన్సిల్, లిమిట్స్ అప్లై చేసి క్యాన్సిల్ అయిపోయి వేరియబుల్ కింద అవ్వదు. మిగతా ఫ్రీక్వెన్సీ డొమైన్ లో మాత్రమే ఉంటుంది. ఇక్కడ when you do the inverse Fourier transform, you will consider the signal in which domain? You are going to consider the signal in frequency domain. When you consider signal in frequency domain, when you do the integration with respect to frequency, now you'll get the signal in which domain? Time domain. So this is what the inverse Fourier transform. Inverse Fourier transform lo frequency domain nunchi time domain కింద కన్వర్ట్ అవుతుంది. Fourier transform లో time domain signal frequency domain లో కన్వర్ట్ అవుతుంది. Now observe this previous slide now. Now one way is, now observe this, you can represent time domain. If you apply Fourier transform to time domain, you will get x of omega. Omega you can write it as 2 pi f. So you can also write this as x of f also. So x of f అన్న x of omega అన్న ఒకటేనమ్మా, గుర్తుపెట్టుకోండి. కానీ ఫార్ములా రాస్తున్నప్పుడు చాలా జాగ్రత్తగా రాయాలి. ప్లీజ్ ట్రై టు అండర్స్టాండ్. x of omega తో రాస్తున్నప్పుడు ఇక్కడ 1/2 pi పెట్టి ఇక్కడ d omega తో ఇంటిగ్రేషన్ చేయాలి. అదే x of f తో రాస్తున్నారు అనుకోండి, ఒమేగా యూ కెన్ రైట్ as 2 pi f కదా. సో df అవుతుంది ఇక్కడ, ఈ 2 pi ఆ 2 pi క్యాన్సిల్ అవుతుంది. సో ఒమేగాతో ఇంటిగ్రేషన్ రాస్తున్నప్పుడు మాత్రం, ఇంటిగ్రేట్ చేస్తున్నప్పుడు x of omega వస్తుంది, 1/2 pi టర్మ్ ఉంటుంది. అదే x of f తో రాస్తున్నప్పుడు, g of f తో రాస్తున్నప్పుడు 1/2 pi ఉండదు. ఇక్కడ జాగ్రత్తగా అబ్జర్వ్ చేయండి. ఫ్రీక్వెన్సీ స్కేల్లో రాస్తున్నప్పుడు 1/2 pi స్కేలింగ్ ఫ్యాక్టర్ ఉండదు. ఇక్కడ 1/2 pi పెట్టారు అంటే ఇక్కడ d omega రాయాలి, ఇక్కడ కూడా g omega రాయాల్సి ఉంటుంది. ప్లీజ్ ట్రై టు అండర్స్టాండ్ ద డిఫరెన్స్. ఇక్కడ j2 pi f ని, సారీ 2 pi f ని ఒమేగా కింద రాసుకోవచ్చు. సో దట్స్ వాట్ ద this is what the Fourier transform pair is. We know, if I know the time domain signal, I can convert into frequency domain using Fourier transform. If I know frequency domain signal, I will convert into time domain signal using inverse Fourier transform. So these are the two formulas. Please note these two formulas. These are very important formulas. ఈ రెండు స్లైడ్స్ మనకు చాలా ఇంపార్టెంట్ అమ్మా. ఈ స్లైడ్ నోట్ చేసుకోండి. ఫస్ట్ ఈ స్లైడ్ లో ఫార్ములాస్ నోట్ చేసుకోండి. ఇక్కడ మీనింగ్ ఏంటంటే టైం డొమైన్ సిగ్నల్ ని ఒమేగా డొమైన్ లో ఇచ్చాం. ఇక్కడ ఈ నెక్స్ట్ స్లైడ్ లోనేమో ఫ్రీక్వెన్సీ డొమైన్ లో ఇచ్చాం. రెండు నోట్ చేసుకోండి. ఫస్ట్ నోట్ డౌన్ ఇట్. మన ఈ ఫోరియర్ ట్రాన్స్ఫార్మ్ మొత్తం ఈ రెండు ఫార్ములాస్ మీదే నడుస్తుందమ్మా. ఈ టాపిక్ మొత్తం కూడా ఈ రెండు ఫార్ములాస్ తో నడుస్తుంది. ఇక మీరు ఏం గుర్తు పెట్టుకోవాల్సిన అవసరం. ప్లీజ్ ట్రై టు అండర్స్టాండ్ దట్. ఇక్కడ ఫస్ట్ రాసేటప్పుడు మాత్రం జాగ్రత్త రాసుకోండి. ఐ ఎక్స్ప్లెయిన్ ఇట్. ఎక్స్ ఆఫ్ ఒమేగా ఈక్వల్ టు ఎఫ్ ఆఫ్ ఎక్స్ ఆఫ్ టి ఇంటిగ్రల్ -∞ ప్లస్ ఇన్ఫినిటీ ఎక్స్ ఆఫ్ టి ఇంటూ ఈ పవర్ మైనస్ పెట్టాలి. ఇక్కడ ఈ పవర్ మైనస్ జే ఒమేగా టీ రాయాలి. ఇక్కడ మైనస్ ఉంటుంది. యు ప్లీజ్ మేక్ ఇట్ మైనస్. ఇక్కడ మైనస్ యాడ్ చేయాల్సి ఉంటుందమ్మా. ఈ ఫస్ట్ టర్మ్ లో మైనస్ యాడ్ చేయాలి. ఎక్స్పోనెన్షియల్ టర్మ్ లో మైనస్ యాడ్ చేయండి. 5.31 ఈక్వేషన్ లో ఎక్స్పోనెన్షియల్ టర్మ్ కి మైనస్ యాడ్ చేసుకోండి. దెన్ ఇది ఫోరియర్ టైం డొమైన్ సిగ్నల్ ఒమేగా డొమైన్ లో రిప్రజెంట్ చేయడానికి. ఇప్పుడు ఒమేగా డొమైన్ సిగ్నల్ ని ఇఫ్ యు టేక్ దిస్ ఎఫ్ టు ద అదర్ సైడ్, it becomes inverse Fourier transform. Then you'll get time domain signal. So the inverse Fourier transform, ఇది ఈక్వేషన్ రైటే. ఇక్కడ మాత్రం మైనస్ రాయాలి. జాగ్రత్త రాసుకోండి. నోట్ చేసేసుకున్నారా? ప్లీజ్ పోస్ట్ ఇట్ ఇన్ ద చాట్ బాక్స్. ఫస్ట్ ఈక్వేషన్ లో మాత్రం ఎక్స్పోనెన్షియల్ టర్మ్ కి మైనస్ పెట్టండి. సెకండ్ ఈక్వేషన్ లో పెట్టకూడదు. జాగ్రత్తగా అర్థం చేసుకోండి. నోట్ చేసుకుంటే చాట్ బాక్స్ లో పోస్ట్ చేయండి అమ్మా. ఎస్ సార్, రైట్. Shall I go to the next slide? ఇక్కడ మాత్రం ఫస్ట్ ఈక్వేషన్ మాత్రం ఎక్స్పోనెన్షియల్ టర్మ్ కి మాత్రం మైనస్ పెట్టాలి. శ్రీలక్ష్మి అండ్ రాజేశ్వరి ప్లీజ్ నోట్ చేసుకోండి. అందరూ ఇన్ఫార్మ్ చేస్తున్నాను మళ్ళీ ఒకసారి. ఈ ఫస్ట్ టర్మ్ కి మాత్రం ఈ ఇంటిగ్రేషన్ లో ఎక్స్పోనెన్షియల్ టర్మ్ కి మైనస్ పెట్టాలి. సెకండ్ దానికి పెట్టకూడదు. రైట్ నౌ నోట్ డౌన్ దిస్. ఫ్రీక్వెన్సీ డొమైన్ లో ఎలా రాస్తాం నోట్ చేసుకోండి అమ్మా. ఈక్వేషన్స్ ఇది కరెక్ట్ గానే ఉందమ్మా. ఫ్రీక్వెన్సీ డొమైన్ లో ఎలా రాస్తాం నోట్ చేసుకోండి. నోట్ చేసుకున్నారమ్మా? ప్లీజ్ పోస్ట్ ఇన్ ద చాట్ బాక్స్. యా, నోట్ చేసుకున్నారమ్మా? ఇది కూడా సెకండ్ స్లైడ్ కూడా నోట్ చేసుకున్నారా ఈక్వేషన్స్? ప్లీజ్ పోస్ట్ ఇట్ ఇన్ ద చాట్ బాక్స్ వన్స్ ఇఫ్ యూ నోట్ ఇట్ డౌన్. మనకి ఈ టాపిక్ ఫోరియర్ ట్రాన్స్ఫార్మ్ మొత్తము కూడా ఈ 2 స్లైడ్లను బేస్ చేసుకుని నడుస్తుంది అది. జాగ్రత్తగా అబ్జర్వ్ చేయండి. మీరు జాగ్రత్తగా అబ్జర్వ్ చేస్తే జస్ట్ ఏంటి ఇంటిగ్రేషన్, ఇక్కడ ఏదైతే ఫంక్షన్ ఇస్తున్నామో జాగ్రత్తగా అబ్జర్వ్ చేయండి అమ్మా. ఇక్కడ ఏ ఫంక్షన్ అయితే ఫోరియర్ ట్రాన్స్ఫార్మ్ రాస్తున్నామో అది ఇంటిగ్రేషన్ లో ఆ టర్మ్ రాస్తున్నాం. టైం డొమైన్ లో ఉంటే మాత్రం ఎక్స్పోనెన్షియల్ లో మైనస్ ఉండాలి, ఇంటిగ్రేషన్ డిటిలో ఉండాలి. ఫ్రీక్వెన్సీ డొమైన్ లో ఉన్నప్పుడు ఎక్స్పోనెన్షియల్ లో నెగిటివ్ ఉండదు, పాజిటివ్ ఉంటుంది. ఇక్కడ ఏ డొమైన్ లో వాడుతున్నామో ఆ ఇంటిగ్రేషన్ టర్మ్ వస్తుంది. జాగ్రత్తగా అర్థం చేసుకోండి అమ్మా. టైం డొమైన్ లో ఉంటే డిటి వస్తుంది ఇంటిగ్రేషన్, ఇక్కడ ఫ్రీక్వెన్సీ డొమైన్ లో ఉంటే డిఎఫ్ వస్తుంది. అది ఇక్కడ జీ ఒమేగా ఉందనుకో డి ఒమేగా వస్తుంది. డి ఒమేగా వచ్చినప్పుడు ఇక్కడ 1/2π టర్మ్ వస్తుంది. మొత్తం 3 ఈక్వేషన్లేనమ్మా, జాగ్రత్తగా గమనించండి. మొత్తం 3 ఈక్వేషన్లతో, ఒకటి టైం నుంచి ఫ్రీక్వెన్సీకి జిఎఫ్ అని, టైం నుంచి ఒమేగాలో రాయొచ్చు జీ ఒమేగా. జీ ఒమేగా రాసినప్పుడు మాత్రం 1/2π టర్మ్ ఇక్కడ యాడ్ అవుతుంది. ఇక్కడ కూడా ఇంటిగ్రేషన్ లో డి ఒమేగా వస్తుంది. ఈజ్ ఇట్ క్లియర్ టు ఆల్ ఆఫ్ యూ? ప్లీజ్ పోస్ట్ ఇన్ ద చాట్ బాక్స్. మొత్తం 3 ఈక్వేషన్స్ వస్తాయి. ఒకటి టైం టు ఫ్రీక్వెన్సీ, రెండోది టైం టు ఒమేగా డొమైన్. మన ప్రాబ్లం బట్టి మనం సాల్వ్ చేసుకుంటూ ఉండాలమ్మా. ఇచ్చిన ప్రాబ్లంలో ఎక్స్ ఆఫ్ జీ ఆఫ్ ఎఫ్ బదులు లేదా ఎక్స్ ఆఫ్ ఎఫ్ బదులు ఎక్స్ ఆఫ్ ఒమేగా ఇచ్చారనుకోండి, అప్పుడు మీరు డి ఒమేగాతోనే ఇంటిగ్రేట్ చేయాలి. అలా కాకుండా ఎక్స్ ఆఫ్ ఎఫ్ ఇచ్చాడు అనుకోండి, దెన్ యూ నీడ్ టు ఇంటిగ్రేట్ విత్ రెస్పెక్ట్ టు డిఎఫ్. అది అమ్మా అర్థం చేసుకోవాల్సింది. ప్లీజ్ ట్రై టు అండర్స్టాండ్ దిస్. రైట్ నౌ ఐఎమ్ గోయింగ్ టు ద నెక్స్ట్ టాపిక్. Now Fourier spectra. Now try to understand. Already we discussed this spectra even in the Fourier series also. Basically we have two types of spectra are there. One is magnitude spectra and the other one is phase spectra, right? Now if you take the Fourier transform, now you write the Fourier transform of x of t, which is x of omega or x of f. When you write x of f, x of omega, which you can write it as x of omega, always you are going to get, which is a complex one. That means x of omega, when you solve it, it looks like a plus jb. When you write a plus jb, you will have the magnitude as well as the phase part, right? The magnitude part, which you can write it as modulus of x of omega, and the phase part, which you can write it as e power j5 omega. This modulus of x of omega, now observe it. This x of omega, which you can call it as, you are going to plot this magnitude with respect to frequency of x of t, which you can call it as magnitude spectra. This modulus of x of omega, which you can call it as the magnitude spectra. Whereas phi of omega, which you can call it as the phase spectra. Now suppose if x of t is a real signal, if x of t is real, then how you can write it? X of omega equal to x of minus omega. So when you replace x of omega with minus omega, then you have this equation. So when it is real signal, the complex conjugate of x of omega is nothing but x of minus omega. This is what the condition. So even the magnitude case, if it is x of minus omega or x of omega, they are same. Whereas when it is phase case, you take the, if it is real, when you take the complex conjugate, phi of omega and phi of minus omega, they are not same. Phi of minus omega, you can write it as minus of phi of omega. This is what the phase part. When you take this, when you plot it, in the case of Fourier series, the magnitude spectra and phase spectra both are discrete in nature. That means you will get only at some specific instance of time. Specific instance only you will get the value. Whereas in Fourier transform, you will get the both magnitude and phase spectra, both are in continuous form, which we'll see in the coming slides with some examples so that you can understand it very clearly. So that is what the use of this Fourier spectra. So in this Fourier spectra, you're going to plot the magnitude and phase spectra of the Fourier transform of x of t. The Fourier transform of x of t is nothing but x of omega, which is a complex one, that you can write it as the real the magnitude and the phase part like this. If you plot the magnitude one, we can call it as magnitude spectra. If you plot the phase part, you can call it as phase spectra. Suppose if it is real, then it should satisfy the complex conjugate this condition. if it is a real kind. So that's what the concept related to the Fourier spectra is. Now, when this Fourier transform will converge, so it's a simple thing. Whenever you're going to consider the Fourier transform, it will exist. It has to satisfy the conditions given by Dirichlet. So those conditions, you can call it as Dirichlet conditions or simply convergence of Fourier transform. Just see, we already studied the periodic signal, the sufficient conditions for x of omega. Again, Dirichlet conditions. The same conditions will have, whatever conditions that we studied for Fourier series, the same conditions will exist even for Fourier transform also. X of t is absolutely integrable. That is, when you integrate minus infinity to plus infinity over x of t, it should give a value which is less than infinity. That means when you do the integration over the limits, you'll get a finite value. That is the first condition. Then x of t has finite number of maximas and minimas within a finite interval. When you take any given signal x of t, it should have finite number of maximas and minimas. Now try to understand, what does finite number of maximas and minimas? When you plot any waveform x of t, it will reach to certain peak value and it will plot certain minimum value, right? It should have, when you reach that, you can find those maximas and minimas should be finite in number. And those finite maximas and minimas will exist only for a finite duration of time. That's what the finite interval means. Finite interval means finite duration. X of t has finite number of discontinuities. Discontinuities means variations within the finite interval, and each of these discontinuities is finite again. If all these three conditions are to be satisfied, then the existence of Fourier series, Fourier transform for a signal is guaranteed. And for such signals, some signals like impulse signal, signals which do not satisfy these conditions can have Fourier transforms also. Some certain signals, even though it will not have this condition, will satisfy the Fourier transform. So this is how the condition for the Fourier transform is. Now, when you see this, when you go to the next topic or the next one, connection between Fourier transform and Laplace transform. Try to understand. Basically, even though we have Laplace transform separately, you have studied Laplace transform separately in the separate chapter, but there is a connection between Laplace transform and Fourier transform also. Now, what is that connection? When you take Laplace transform, whether it is Laplace transform or Fourier transform, you are going to consider the signal which is in time domain only. But in Laplace transform, the time domain signal has been converted into S domain. S domain. Whereas in Fourier transform, the time domain signal has been converted into frequency domain. So now you may ask, yes, what is you mean by S? S is nothing but it is having the real and imaginary component. We'll see that. Now, when you take the Laplace transform of x of t, which you can write a mathematical equation like this, that you can write it as L of x of t equal to x of s, which you can write integral minus infinity to plus infinity x of t into e power minus st dt. Now observe it. So the similar equation we have, in the place of s we have, now observe this. This is what the Fourier transform of x of t. This is what the Laplace transform of x of t. Now, what is the difference? You please try to understand. You observe these two equations, equation 1 and 2, and tell me. Please see the equations 1 and 2 and post it in the chat box. What is the difference that you observed in that? Please post it in the chat box. Observe first equation and second equation in this slide and tell me what is the difference that you observed. Please post it in the chat box. Now, please post it in the chat box. Observe first equation and second equation. What is the difference that you observed? Sindhu, please unmute yourself. Now tell me, what is the difference that you have observed here? Please post in the chat box. Observe first equation and second equation. The first equation is the Fourier transform of x of t is x of omega. That means I have to write f of x of t equal to x of omega, which is equal to integral minus infinity to plus infinity x of t into e power minus j omega t dt. Now the second equation is the Laplace transform of x of t, that I can write it as L of x of t equal to x of s, which is equal to integral minus infinity to plus infinity x of t into e power minus st dt. Now tell me, what is the difference that you observed in first and second equation? Yeah, in first equation, j omega. In second equation, it says, yes, you are right, Bhavya. You are right, good. In first equation, you are representing in omega. In second equation, you are representing s. That means Fourier transform is used to convert the time domain to omega domain. Omega is nothing but 2 pi f. Since 2 pi is constant, you can convert the time domain to frequency. Whereas in Laplace transform, you are converting the time domain to s domain. That is the difference. That is the difference. So in the place of s, actually here you would write, in the place of s, you would write j omega. When you take the magnitude, modulus of x of j omega is nothing but x of omega only. That's the reason will represent x of omega. When you replace s with j omega, you will get this equation. Please try to understand. When you replace s with j omega, you will get this. Observe this. When you replace x of s, which is the f of x of t, you replace s with j omega. And yes, you can write it as sigma plus j omega. Please try to understand. Yes, you can write it as sigma plus j omega. Sigma is the real part, j omega is the imaginary part. So when you substitute it, so all this term, you'll get some constant. So that's the reason we have a correlation, we have a connection between Laplace transform and Fourier transform. But Laplace transform is used to convert the time domain to s domain. And this is basically used, this Laplace transform you can apply most of the times in control systems. Please try to understand. I'm going to tell you the application part also. Now, whereas this Fourier transform, you are converting the time domain to frequency. This is used in communication applications. Fourier transform is used in communication applications. All our communication, electronics and communication, all our branch of engineering. So we are going to use the problem. I think, you know, when you use that 4G, 5G, all that, you are defining in frequencies, in frequency domain, right? So systems will understand in frequency domain, whereas users will understand, as a human being will understand in time domain, but system will not understand in time domain. You need to convert the time domain to frequency domain. So for that, all our communication equipment uses this Fourier transform. Please try to understand. So there are lot many applications are there for Fourier transform. So please try to link the concept very easily and try to understand it. When you understand the concept, automatically you can find the subject is very easy, right? Now what I'll do is, I'm going to take one example. Please, all of you note this example. I am going to solve it for you. First, note down this. Consider the unit impulse pulse function del of t. Find the write down. I'll tell the question like this. Find the Fourier transform. Write down. All of you note down. All of you take your notebooks and note down the question. Find the Fourier transform. Find the Fourier transform of unit impulse function. Find the Fourier transform of unit impulse function. Now I am going to solve this problem for you using the Jamboard, or I can solve it directly on the PPT also. So first I'm going to connect my digital board. Wait for a while. So that you can understand the concept very easily, how you can solve this Fourier transform and how you can find inverse Fourier transforms also, with some examples, so that automatically you can understand the concept very easily. Right now, uh, yeah, just wait for a stop sharing. I'm going to use Jamboard. I'm minimizing my PPT, and I'm going to use Jamboard. Just wait for a while. Yeah, now observe it. Here I am going to solve this problem for you. Can you see the screen? Please post it in the chat box. Can you see this Jamboard, untitled Jam with the title? Please post it in the chat box. Yeah, good. Yeah. Now observe it. He has asked us to find the Fourier transform of impulse function, right? So already we discussed during the first unit. Um, I can represent the impulse function by a mathematical equation. I can represent the impulse function by a mathematical equation. Del of t is the representation for impulse function, and which is equal to 1, right? So that means how it looks like. Impulse function means a pulse at t equal to 0 with an amplitude of 1. This is what the impulse function is. Now, if I write del of t minus t naught, again I have a pulse at t naught with an amplitude of 1. This is what del of t minus t naught. So that means when I say impulse function, it's a pulse. If it is not here, time is not there, so it will exist at t equal to 0. If time is there, it looks like this t minus t naught. When you take this term and equal to 0, it will exist at that time. And what is the amplitude of this one? The amplitude of this impulse is 1. That's what the impulse function is. Now he has asked us to find the Fourier transform of this. So your function is del of t. Now I want to find the Fourier transform of this. So if I write the Fourier transform of del of t, which you can write integral minus infinity to plus infinity, your function is del of t e power minus j2 pi ft dt, e power minus j2 pi ft dt. Now observe it. When you are applying these limits, since impulse function del of t is existing only del of t equal to 1 at t equal to 0. So when you substitute t equal to 0, what will happen? E power 0, this is 1, and at t equal to 0, this integration becomes 1. So the Fourier transform of impulse function is simply 1. Please try to understand this. The Fourier transform of an impulse function is simply 1. So that is how you are going to get the Fourier transform of. So I can write this like this. Simply, I can write f of del of t, which is equal to 1. The Fourier transform of del of t equal to 1. Is it clear to all of you? So please try to understand. Please post it in the chat box if you have any doubt. So if I represent the impulse function, you can define impulse function as like this: del of t equal to 1, and it is existing at t equal to 0. I have a pulse whose amplitude is 1. If it is del of t minus t naught, I'll have an impulse function at t naught whose amplitude is again 1. Is it clear? If I take the Fourier transform, so impulse function will exist only at one instant of time. So at that instant, if you substitute del of t, at t equal to 0, the moment when you take t equal to 0, this exponential becomes 1. All this value gives you 1. So the Fourier transform of del of t is simply 1. Is it clear to all of you? Please post it in the chat box. So you can say that the Fourier transform of del of t is simply 1. Is it clear? Yeah. Now note down the next question. Find the Fourier transform. Find the Fourier transform of unit step function. Find the Fourier transform of unit step function. Find the Fourier transform of unit step function. Have you noted down this problem? Find the Fourier transform of this is I can write here for ft of impulse. Ft of impulse function. Ft means Fourier transform. So here in this example, I have solved the Fourier transform of impulse function. Now, in the next example, I'm going to solve the Fourier transform of unit step function. That means here I'm going to write, find the Fourier transform of unit step function. When I say unit step function, you know, which you already studied, u of t equal to 1, 0 less than t less than infinity. And if you plot the graph for the unit step function, which you have studied in the first unit, this is what the graph for the unit step function. 0, and this is time, and with an amplitude of 1. This is what u of t is. So when you write this, when you find the Fourier transform for this, now I can write the Fourier transform of u of t. Since my function is unit step function, which I can write u of t, which is equal to integral minus infinity to plus infinity u of t e power minus j2 pi ft dt. Now observe it. Now what is u of t? U of t is nothing but 1, and it is existing from 0 to infinity. So instead of writing minus infinity to plus infinity, I have to write the limits, which is, since u of t is existing only from 0 to infinity, which is 1. So I can write integral 0 to infinity. I can write u of t as 1 e power minus j2 pi f t dt. Now you simplify this integration. Now when you simplify this, e power minus j theta, how you can write it? E power minus j theta, you can write it as e power minus j 2 pi ft by minus j 2 pi f. It looks like j theta. I'm writing that. And the limits is 0 to infinity. Now when you apply the upper limit, e power minus infinity, what is e power minus? In the place of t, I have to substitute this. When you substitute e power minus infinity, you'll get 0. So for the upper limit, it is 0. And for the lower limit, minus I need to write. And e power 0, which is 1, minus of minus becomes plus. You'll get 1 by j 2 pi f. This I can write it as 1 by j omega. This is what the Fourier transform of u of t is. The Fourier transform of u of t is 1 by j omega. Is it clear to all of you? Please post it in the chat box how I solved it. Just you apply the limits. Now observe it. When you apply the Fourier transform of unit step function, this I can write it as 1 by j 2 pi f. That means you are going to get in which domain? Omega domain or frequency domain. So the Fourier transform of time domain signal, you may get either frequency domain like this or omega domain like this. Is it clear? Please post it in the chat box. Is it clear? Is the concept clear? How I solved it? Please post it in the chat box. Yes. Now, okay. Now what I'll do is I'm going to give some problems to you. Just wait for a while. I'm going to can you see this Word file which is opening now? Please post it in the chat box. చాట్ బాక్స్ లో పోస్ట్ చేయండి అమ్మా. ఈ వేవ్ ఫార్మ్స్ కనిపిస్తున్నాయా? Yeah. Now note down this problem. First problem. Find the Fourier transform of g of t shown below. Find the Fourier transform of g of t shown below. ఈ వేవ్ ఫార్మ్ డ్రా చేసుకోండి ఫస్ట్. I'll solve this problem and I'll stop once after solving this problem. I'll stop for today's class. First, note down this problem. You have a triangular pulse which is existing from -5 to 5 with an amplitude of 0. With an amplitude of 0. Have you noted the first problem? Okate note cheskondi amma. Find the Fourier transform of g of t shown below. Idi okate note cheskondi. Note చేసుకున్నారా? Please post it in the chat box.
Yeah, for your convenience, just wait for a while. I'm going to draw this. Now observe this waveform. Now see this waveform. Now for this waveform, please note down all of you. Find the Fourier transform of the waveform shown below. Now for this waveform, you have to find the Fourier transform. That means what you have to do. Always remember, the most of the times you will get problems like this only in the form of waveforms only. So for that, what you have to do, you have to convert this waveform to a mathematical equation. That means you need to write the equation for g of t. Now to write the equation for g of t, first, now you need to identify the coordinates here. So the coordinates here are -5, 0, and here 0, a, and here 5, 0. That means here you have a line between 2 points, which is -5, 0 and 0, a. Now write the equation for this line. First write the equation for this line as well as write the equation for this line also. Now when you write the equation for this line, now I'm going to consider this as x1, y1, this as x2, y2. Now you know the equation y minus y1 equal to y2 minus y1 by x2 minus x1 into x minus x1. This is what the equation in general. But here, now your y is nothing but, in this case, your y is nothing but the variable that is there on y-axis. Now, what is the variable that is there on y-axis? My variable that is there on y-axis is g of t. Now, what is my variable that is there on x-axis? That is, x is nothing but the variable that is there on x-axis, which is nothing but t. My x is t and my y is g of t. And y1, y2, x2, x1, already I have given the points. Now you can write y minus y1, I can write g of t minus y1, which is not there, which is equal to y2 minus y1, which is a, divided by x2 minus x1. So x2 minus x2 is 0, x1 is minus 5, minus and minus becomes plus a by 5 into x. Now x is t, x minus x1. X1 is 5, minus of minus becomes plus. So you will get t plus 5. So this is existing from -5 less than t -5 less than t less than 0. And similarly, you write the equation for this also. When you write the equation for this, again you treat this as x2, y2. Now you treat this as x1, y1 now for this portion. That means the equation for this is a by 5 into t plus 5. And this is existing from -5 less than or equal to t less than or equal to 0. Now I need to write the equation for this. Again, use the same formula. So for this, the equation is y minus y1. Again, I have to write y minus y1 g of t, okay, which is equal to y2 minus y1. Your y2 is a, y1 0. I can write y2 minus y1 again, the same thing, into x minus x1. Now your x is this. Now in the place of x1, now what you have to write is the equation for this now is a by 5 into t minus 5, 0 less than t less than 5. Please try to understand how I have written these equations. Is it clear up to now? Just since it's a triangle, when it is a triangle, now you need to identify the locations of the coordinates the coordinates at this place is minus 5 comma 0, and the coordinates at this point is 0 comma a. Now I can represent this as a, b, c. Now you need to write the equation of a line between a and b. That is y2 minus y1 by x2 minus y minus y1 equal to y2 minus y1 by x2 minus x1 into x minus x1. Here y is the variable that is there on y-axis, which is g of t, and x is the variable that is there on x-axis, which is t. Thereby you can have this equation. Now you can have this equation. Is it clear up to now? Please post it in the chat box. Is it clear up to now? Please post it in the chat box. Is it clear up to now? Do you understand how I have written the equations for this? Please respond, dear students. Please respond. అర్థమవుతుందమ్మా ఎలా పోస్ట్ చేశాను, ఎలా రాశాను ఈక్వేషన్స్? Okay, I think yeah. Is it clear how I have written these equations? Yeah. Now once if I know the equation, now you can directly write your g of t now. Your g of t, which is a by 5 into t plus 5, which is minus 5 less than t less than 0, and a by 5 into t minus 5, which is 0 less than t less than 5. Now you know the equation for g of t. Now can you find the Fourier transform for this? So you please take this, you please try to understand how I have written this equation for this. Please try to analyze it. Then this is what the equation I obtained. Now you write the Fourier transform of g of t, which you can write it as the Fourier transform of g of t, which is nothing but g of f, which you can write integral minus infinity to plus infinity g of t into e power minus j2 pi ft dt. Now now your g of t is existing from minus 5 to 5. So no need to write minus infinity to plus infinity. And in minus 5 to 5 also you have two equations. So I can write minus 5 to 0 a by 5 into t plus 5 into e power minus j2 pi ft dt plus integral 0 to 5 a by 5 into t minus 5 into e power minus j2 pi ft dt. So this is how you can write it. Now once if you write this, you can simplify it. It looks like a plus b into c. You need to solve this integration. It's an assignment to all of you. Please note down this problem and you solve it. So with this, I am going to stop for today's class. Hope you will understand